You ever feel like your prayers don't get answered or you struggle with the process of self-transformation? Because if so, stay tuned. This is Simplify Your Journey. We're about to get down on this topic respectfully. And let's dive on in like Michael Phelps himself. And for the longest time, I just was super frustrated and felt stuck because I would, daily be praying and asking God and the universe to help me and guide me and lead me to becoming the person I want and working on these flaws or things I felt I struggled with. And, looking back on it now, I realized that God was providing everything I needed at the time. And when I asked for it, I just simply lacked the awareness to notice. I'm excited to share and expand on this topic. First point I'll touch on is that these answers rarely ever come without some type of work or just directly to you. I kind of just had this belief that, if I woke up and stuck to this certain schedule of praying and meditating and, talking to God, which are all great things, but just doing those, that would suffice. And I would naturally become, this more caring, patient, loving person. But that's just, I've come to find a foolish way of thinking. Rarely, if ever, do you attain or level up in life, I guess you could call it, without some hard work and dedication and capitalizing on the opportunities that God and life give to you. So thankfully, over time, I became more aware of the situations God put me in that allowed me to practice what I prayed for. And just like in anything, whether it's sports, music, dancing, any new skill you're trying to learn, it just requires repetition and doing something over and over and over again until you get it right. So now I'll get into 3 examples that have happened in my life. So one of the virtues I've really prayed for over the years has been patience. And it's just something I feel like I've always lacked in a little bit. And it's kind of led me to, at times being very unpleasant and short and like snappy with people I really care about. And just something I really battle with and has been a big struggle for me. So yeah, I've been praying for a while about, addressing that. And like, as I mentioned before, it kind of started more as just praying at night, asking God to, please make me a more patient person, which again, I think is very, very important. It's good to have that relationship and communication with God, but there is that other part that I think taking action is a vital, important part of that process. And so the situation that God put in front of me to address this, where I finally snapped out of it and was aware, was when I had my first roommate after a while, and a lot of time of my adult life was spent kind of living on my own, being self-sufficient and independent, which I loved. But then he had a roommate move in, and along with him came 3 boys of the ages 2, 4, and 6. So pretty chaotic. It was a lot. It was intense. And they weren't here every day. It was like a weekend thing, but still for me, it was a huge change up in my life. So yeah, I just, at first it was a really frustrating experience, and I'd wake up every day and just be like, man, I don't know, like, I don't really know how much longer I want to do this. But as time went on, I, again, kind of was able to become aware of the situation that, this is exactly what I'm praying for. God is putting in front of me a situation that is going to allow me to work on my patience, and even gradually, because it wasn't an everyday thing. But, just at least on the weekends, and, sometimes they'd come over during the week, but he would put these kids in front of me that were bouncing off the walls, tugging at my shirt, kind of bothered me when I'm playing video games or on the phone and stuff. So it was all this stuff that, these innocent kids that don't know any better, but were a major point in my life where I realized, this is a great opportunity to work on my patience. And so I'm still a little bit struggling with the patience aspect of things, but it did really open up an awesome door for me in which I think I made some pretty significant strides in working on my patience and just realizing that, you know, they're just little kids and they don't mean any harm, or they're not trying to intentionally upset me. And it's just me, myself, and my ego taking it a certain way that is causing me to feel all this anger and built up strife for really no reason, just because I feel like, I need things done a certain way, or to be or the house to be in a certain manner or order. And so, yeah, I put my patience to the test, but I am thankful that it happened because it definitely allowed for a lot of growth in that area. Numero dos example I'll talk about would be, I've just been working on trying to get into a better schedule and more disciplined, I guess I'd say. And because I work a remote job, I think I've been lucky enough to, have that schedule. And it's sometimes I'd get into, I guess, habit of staying up a little too late and sleeping in, even on work days, because I just roll out of bed, check into my meeting, and then just roll back over, and I'm film. But this was something I was praying for and asking God for, and He didn't just give it to me. I didn't just wake up one day and realize, I gotta wake up at 7 a.m. every day and stick to it. Which is a little bit of lack of discipline on my end, but again, that's what I was praying for. So God put the situation in my life where my beautiful girlfriend has 2 brothers that she has kind of been basically raising, and she was putting them in school and kind of doing everything on her own. So I just I wanted to help out in some ways that I felt I could. And so one of those was with school, and she needed me to help in the morning taking the boys to school, which maybe kind of doesn't seem like all that intense of effort, but for me, it was like waking up at it was like 6:30 a.m. instead of usually I get to sleep until like 8:50 right before work. So this was a huge shift in my morning routine, at least, where I was now having to wake up 2 hours before I normally do, and drop her brothers off at school. And then I just found like, I only had to do it for about a month or so, but it just completely shifted my morning routine because, instead of complaining or, saying I don't want to help out, I just took the opportunity and made the most of it, tried to do it with the best attitude I could each and every day. And yeah, I'm not waking up at 6:30 every day now, but I am waking up, about at 8, like an hour before I normally would. So it's just made my mornings a lot better. I get to knock out all these certain routines or just morning routines I would do later in the day. Now I'm knocking it out before I even start work. And it's just made my whole day more productive and really helped set the tone for a successful day. And so again, that's just a cool small example that, when presented the opportunity, I've been able to be more aware of these, and God, indirectly giving me exactly what I'm praying for and asking for, and saying, it's up to you to make it happen. So, get on it. And, I'm working on becoming more and more aware of these, and slowly but surely making progress. The third and last point I'll talk about is just surrendering to God and trusting the process of life and letting go of the need to control everything. So I'm not 100% sure where this stems from for me. I'm still kind of trying to piece that together. It could have been, from being disappointed in the past and just having a lack of trust in other people. But I struggled with this. I just have an over-involvement in anything I'm involved in. I feel like I need to be part of like every aspect of it, and oversee everything and just almost like micromanage life, or I feel like things aren't going to get done properly. And I believe God has shown me, or is trying to show me or help me let go of this by, I've been dealing with some things with mental health and anxiety, and I do think a big part of that comes from this feeling I have that I need to control everything. And as I had mentioned in just earlier on, that action is a huge major component of this whole process. There is always a balance. There's a balance between praying and asking for things and taking action. So in this case, it was too much action. And so, I think God is just trying to tell me it's a disruptor in my life. So he's trying to tell me that, just to take a second sometimes and trust people in him, that, he has the best plans in store for me. And sometimes, I do enough, and I try to make sure things are set up as properly as possible. And once I've done that, it's okay to let go and just trust that things will work out how they're supposed to be. Next part of this would be how to recognize this yourself and grow. And I think it is important to incorporate elements such as, prayer, meditation, breathing techniques, and just working on staying as present and mindful as possible in everyday life. If you are able to keep this mindfulness about you, it allows you to stay focused and recognize when you're in these situations. And instead of, maybe unconsciously suppressing or repressing or pushing them away, you invite them in and almost form some excitement around, this is my chance, this is my opportunity to improve myself. And don't beat yourself up if you missed them. That's something I would get caught up doing. I'd be like, dang, he's giving me all these chances and I keep messing up. Like, God will give you as many chances as you need, as long as you're continuing to search and look for answers and just stay mindful and aware and keep that communication and channel open with him. You will get as many chances as you need until you get it right. Now, what do you do when it gets tough? Well, I saw this video, which I can link, I believe by Alex Ramosi, but basically talks about, what would you do if you had to create a tough person? You'd probably give them a lot of challenges and obstacles to overcome, not just hand them everything in life. Or, if you had to create a very patient person, you probably wouldn't give them immediately what they want. You'd make them work for it and build up that patience. So, I think the point of that, is just that there's a reason behind the struggle and the challenges, because from those, that is how you grow and develop into the best version of yourself. I also like the comparison of using, I think a lot of kids experienced growing up, your parents would provide some sort of incentive if you, did well in school or were on your best behavior when you were out, something like that. And, it, as a kid, you would be more aware and be like, I want to be on my best behavior. I'm going to, work hard at school, so I get that Xbox, or, I get $5 for doing whatever it may be. And so I just think that as you grow older, there's that kind of dynamic with God where he's going to give you challenges in life, and your reward at the end of those, and, once you've stuck with it and proven to him that, and to yourself, that you're worthy, you then unlock that trait or that characteristic, or even whatever the success or desire you have, because you stuck with it and you have proven to yourself and to God that you are deserving of it. So from all these lessons, I realized that God really does answer all my prayers, just not always in the ways I expect or want. Taking action in making slow, consistent progress, along with trusting the process of life and surrendering to God, allows for unimaginable growth. I'm not yet anywhere near where I want to be, but I am very proud of the progress I made and will continue to make. It's tough sometimes because it's hard to see how and why everything is the way it is, but just trusting that God and the universe is beautifully sculpting your life in a way that is going to create these environments that allow you to become the best version of yourself. When you're able to think and reframe your thoughts to that way, it really helps you gain an appreciation and excitement for everything to come.
And thank you very much for watching. It's mad late here. I don't even know if what I'm saying is making sense,
but I hope it helped at least a few people. Again, always feel free to reach out. Always happy to talk. And I believe in us. Come on.